Aliens felt abandoned. They reached out to humanity, and a fleet came. Far beyond the well-traveled star lanes, the Ellery drifted in the quiet of space. Their cities, shining like glass sculptures around a pale blue sun, had once been proud centers of learning and art. But now those cities were empty, silent, and lonely. The Ellery had waited for centuries, hoping that the galactic trade routes and alliances would return, but no one came. The allies they once trusted had vanished after a great war long before humans even knew of the stars. Without help, the Ellery slowly began to fade. Their population shrank, their energy grids failed, and the outer colonies drifted into darkness one by one. The Ellery were not a race of fighters. They were thinkers and builders. They studied the stars, painted the light of nebulae in their cities, and created music that could travel across light years. But in the emptiness of space, none of their arts mattered if their people were gone. The leaders of the Ellery gathered in their council chambers, a place of crystal and glowing energy. The council elders were worried, their translucent forms flickering in the soft light. "We cannot last much longer," said one elder. His voice hummed like the wind through hollow glass. "Our energy stores are low, our colonies fail, and there is no one to help us." Another elder, her hands moving like ripples in water, spoke next. "We cannot stay silent. We must reach beyond the stars. There may be others who can hear us, who can care." A third elder, the youngest of the council, nodded. "Yes, we have the old protocol. We can send a wideband distress signal. It may take years to reach anyone, but it is our only hope." After hours of discussion, the council agreed. The Ellery began preparing the signal. It was not a weapon. It was a message of need. They built it with careful thought and precision, embedding the coordinates of their star system, basic mathematics, and their culture in the code. It was a message that said simply, "We are here, we are in need, we are alone." Meanwhile, on Earth, the signal traveled silently across light years. On a cold, clear night in Nevada at a deep space monitoring station, Lieutenant Daniel Brooks sat at a console. He adjusted the sensors, scanning the far reaches of space for anything unusual. The stars stretched out in all directions, familiar yet mysterious. Daniel had been trained to detect anomalies, strange pulses, or signals that did not belong. His job was routine most days, but tonight something caught his attention. "Commander Carter, come here," Daniel called. Lily Carter, a communications analyst, quickly moved to his station. She leaned over the console and saw the readings. "What is it?" she asked. Daniel pointed at the screen. "I don't know yet. It's faint, but it's structured. Look at this pattern. It's repeating, but not random. Someone or something is trying to communicate." Lily studied the data, her brow furrowed. "This is not like the usual background noise. It's organized. There are numbers, sequences, patterns that make sense. This could be intelligent." The two of them worked quickly. Hours passed as they decoded the fragments, piecing together the message. It was slow, difficult work. The signal was old, having traveled across space for countless years. Parts were lost, but the message remained clear enough to make them understand. "It's a plea," Lily said finally, her voice quiet. "They're asking for help, and these are coordinates. Someone far away is asking us to come." Daniel sat back in his chair, staring at the screen. "If this is real, if someone out there is calling for help, we have to tell Command. They need to know." In Washington, the United Earth Command received the transmission. There was debate, as always. Some saw the message as a trap, a lure from pirates or an enemy. Others saw it as an opportunity to extend humanity's reach and do something good. Admiral Ethan Cole, a man known for his steady hands and clear thinking, listened to the reports. He looked out from the bridge of his office at the lights of the city below. The decision was difficult. Humanity had only recently begun traveling between stars. Their fleet was strong, but not unlimited. They had responsibilities in other colonies and could not risk lives for an unknown species. Yet when he read the fragments of the message, he felt something he could not explain. It was not a demand. It was not a threat. It was sadness. It was longing. It was hope. He leaned back in his chair. "Prepare a fleet," he said finally. "We go to them not as conquerors, not as merchants, but as friends. They asked for help and we will answer." On the shipyards of Earth, preparations began. Ships were refitted with supplies, food, medical equipment, atmospheric processors, energy cells. Engineers worked around the clock. Crews were trained, maps plotted, and protocols written. Civilians volunteered to travel alongside military escorts. Humanity did not just send warships. They sent aid, they sent engineers, they sent hope. Captain Grace Mitchell was assigned to command the flagship carrier Liberty Dawn. She was known for her courage and clear thinking, a person who could make hard decisions in the heat of the moment. Her second in command was Commander Noah Bennett, tactical expert and problem solver. Together, they oversaw the fleet as it prepared to leave Earth's orbit. "Do you think they're ready for us?" Noah asked, looking at the star charts. Grace shook her head. "I don't know, but we're ready for them. That's what matters." The Ellery on the other side of the galaxy continued to wait. Their signal had left their world years ago, and now they could only hope someone would respond. The youngest counselor watched the sky through a crystal window. "Do you think they will come?" he asked the elders. "We must hope," said the eldest. "Hope is all we have." The fleet left Earth, engines glowing against the blackness. Families and friends watched from orbital stations, waving at ships that would take months, even years, to reach the distant stars. The human crew faced danger, uncertainty, and the unknown, but they moved forward with courage. As the fleet traveled through unstable regions of space, they encountered signs of chaos. Abandoned stations with no crew, drifting cargo ships, and remnants of past conflicts. On one occasion, a small group of pirates tried to intercept a supply vessel. Commander Ryan Clark, leading the escort ships, acted with skill. He disabled the pirate ships without killing anyone, using precise maneuvers and non-lethal weapons. The crew of the supply ship cheered, knowing that they had survived without bloodshed. Meanwhile, back with the Ellery, the signal continued to echo in the void. They watched the skies, hoping for a response, imagining what help might look like. They did not expect an entire fleet. Their history with the galaxy had taught them that no one came, no one answered, and yet a small part of them dared to hope. On board Liberty Dawn, Captain Mitchell and Commander Bennett reviewed every report from their fleet. Each ship was in position, supplies were secure, and communication lines were open. The crew felt a mixture of excitement and fear. They were about to meet an alien civilization, and no one could predict what would happen. Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter continued to monitor the signal as the fleet moved closer. Every new pattern in the transmission gave them clues about the Ellery. They learned that the aliens were not dangerous, not aggressive, and in need. Every time the signal pulsed, they felt a connection, as if the message were reaching across time and space to call out for understanding. Months passed as the fleet journeyed. The stars changed from familiar constellations to unknown regions. The human crews learned to trust each other in isolation. They held drills, repaired engines, and shared stories of home. The fleet became more than just ships. It became a family, united by the mission to help strangers across the galaxy. Finally, after months of travel, the first hints of Ellery space appeared on the sensors. Faint energy readings, scattered satellites, and glowing cities floated in the darkness. The fleet slowed, cautious but eager. The Ellery had not prepared defenses for intruders. They had prepared only for hope. When the first human scouts reached the outermost colonies, the Ellery watched from their crystal cities. They had never imagined a fleet, only a single ship. Yet here it was, a procession of massive vessels, glowing with light and carrying more than weapons. They carried care. Captain Mitchell opened the first communication channel. Her voice was calm and steady. "This is Captain Grace Mitchell of the Liberty Dawn. We are humans. We received your message. We have come to help. You are not alone." Across the void, the Ellery Council received the words. Their hearts, if they could be called that, trembled. For centuries, they had felt abandoned. For centuries, they had hoped in silence. Now, across the stars, someone had answered. The youngest counselor whispered, "They came, they really came." The elders nodded, their glowing forms shimmering with relief. The Ellery had waited for so long that they had forgotten what hope felt like. And now it was here. As the fleet moved closer, the Ellery realized that their long years of waiting had not been in vain. Humanity had seen them, had heard their plea, and had chosen to act. For the first time in generations, the stars did not feel empty. And in the quiet, glowing cities of the Ellery, a new feeling took root. Perhaps they thought this time they would not be alone. The human fleet moved slowly into Ellery space. The stars were strange and unfamiliar. Faint blue suns and glittering asteroid fields surrounded them. Captain Grace Mitchell watched the sensors closely. Commander Noah Bennett stood beside her, scanning the navigation screens. "This is beautiful," Noah said quietly. "I've never seen stars like this before." Grace nodded. "Keep your focus. We are not here for sightseeing." We need to find their colonies and make sure they are safe. The fleet spread out carefully. Supply ships moved in the center, protected by destroyers on the edges. Liberty Dawn, the flagship, led the way. The crew was tense. They did not know what they would find. They did not know if the Ellery would trust them. "Captain," said Lieutenant Ava Morgan, the officer in charge of communications, "our long-range scans show multiple energy sources around this system. These are the Ellery colonies. Most of them are weak, but they are still functioning." Grace leaned forward. "Prepare the fleet for slow approach. We don't want to scare them. We are here to help, not to attack." As the fleet moved closer, the Ellery watched. From their glowing cities, they could see ships that shined like distant moons. The council gathered, their forms shimmering in the light. "They are many," said the youngest counselor. "We expected one ship, not a whole fleet." "Do not be afraid," said the eldest. "They came because we asked. That is all we need to know. Watch carefully." The first human scouts reached the outermost colony. It was small, with floating platforms of light and transparent structures. Many of the buildings were dim, some dark. The colony had been abandoned in parts, but there were still Ellery alive. Captain Mitchell opened communications. "This is Captain Grace Mitchell of the Liberty Dawn. We are humans. We received your message. We are here to help. Do you hear us?" A moment of silence passed. Then a voice, musical and clear, answered. "Yes, we hear you. We did not expect so many. You are many. Why have you come?" Grace smiled slightly. "We came because you asked. You are not alone. We are here to help in any way we can." The Ellery were shocked. They had not heard words like this in centuries. They had expected one ship, maybe a small team. Instead, they saw dozens of ships, with humans ready to help and protect. Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter monitored the communications from the human fleet. "They are stunned," Lily said. "They don't know what to think." Daniel nodded. "We have to be careful. If we act too fast, they might panic. Let's start with small actions, show them we mean no harm." The first team of human engineers prepared to land on the outer colony. Captain Mitchell assigned Commander Ryan Clark to lead the team. The engineers carried portable power units, medical supplies, and repair equipment. Their mission was simple: help the Ellery restore basic systems and show them that humans could be trusted. As the landing crafts approached the colony, Ellery citizens gathered on platforms, watching from a distance. They had never seen creatures like humans. Humans walked upright, wore armor, carried tools that could change their world. The Ellery were nervous, but curiosity overcame fear. Ryan Clark stepped out of the landing craft and raised his hand in greeting. "We are here to help. We come as friends. Please let us assist you." An Ellery named Lyra, a council observer, floated closer. She studied the humans with wide eyes. You are real. You came for us. You care." Ryan smiled. "Yes, we care. We heard your message. We know you have suffered. We want to help." The Ellery hesitated. Their history had taught them to fear strangers. But slowly, they allowed the humans to begin repairs. The engineers worked quickly, restoring energy grids, repairing communication arrays, and stabilizing life support systems. The Ellery watched in amazement. They had not seen anyone care so much for centuries. Meanwhile, the human fleet patrolled the surrounding space. Captain Mitchell assigned destroyers to watch the outer borders. Commander Bennett studied nearby asteroid fields. "There may be threats we don't know about," he warned. "We need to be ready." The Ellery elders gathered to discuss. "These humans are unlike any others," said one. "They do not take from us, they do not demand, they only give." The youngest counselor nodded. Perhaps we have been wrong to fear the stars so much. Perhaps there are those who can be trusted." Back with the fleet, minor problems arose. Some of the smaller supply ships had difficulty navigating the unusual space currents. Lieutenant Ava Morgan coordinated with the engineers, guiding the ships safely. "We have to make sure nothing goes wrong," she said. "If we make mistakes, they will lose trust in us." Captain Mitchell knew this was true. She gathered her officers. "Every action we take matters. We are guests in their space, and we must show respect. Protect the Ellery, help them rebuild, and nothing else. That is our mission." At another colony, a larger city floated around a crystalline asteroid. Its energy systems were failing and buildings flickered in darkness. Human ships moved into orbit. Engineers deployed energy stabilizers while medical teams treated Ellery who had been weakened by years of neglect. An Ellery child approached a human named Sarah, a medic. The child's eyes were wide with wonder. You help us?" Sarah smiled. "Yes, we are here to help." "You are safe now." The child's small hands touched the glowing energy units. "So you are friends?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, friends." Slowly, the Ellery began to trust the humans. They offered information about the colonies, explained where repairs were most needed, and shared their stories. Humans listened, learning about a culture built on light, music, and knowledge. But not all was quiet in space. Sensors picked up distant signals from a pirate group. These were remnants of warbands who had preyed on the Ellery for years. They had not attacked yet, but their presence was a warning. Captain Mitchell reviewed the data with Commander Bennett. "They are out there watching, but we are ready. If they attack, we will protect the Ellery. That is our promise." The Ellery, still unaccustomed to human behavior, watched the preparations. They saw ships form defensive lines, lasers charging, and humans ready to defend them at all cost. For the first time, they felt safe. Meanwhile, the engineers continued their work. Energy grids were restored, water purification systems restarted, and communication satellites returned to orbit. The Ellery marveled at the speed and efficiency of the humans. "Why do they help us?" asked Lyra. "They do not know us. They could leave, they could take what they want, but they do not, they only give." Ryan Clark answered, his hands busy with wiring. "Because no one should be alone, we have faced danger too. We know what it is to need help, so we help others. It is what we do." As the day ended in the Ellery system, the skies glowed with the light of human ships. The Ellery cities shone brighter than they had in centuries. Children laughed again, families gathered, and the council felt hope growing. Captain Mitchell and her officers met to plan the next phase. They would expand repairs, set up long-term support, and prepare for any possible threats. "We are only the beginning," she said. "We need to show them that we are here to stay as long as they need us." Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter monitored the communications from afar. They watched the Ellery begin to trust the humans. "It is working," Lily said. "They are beginning to believe that someone cares." Daniel nodded. "Yes. And soon they will see that we are willing to stand with them, even if danger comes. That is what they need most." At night, in the pale blue light of their star, the Ellery Council gathered again. They looked at the fleet, shimmering like a river of light across space. "They have come," said the youngest counselor. "They have really come." "Yes," said the eldest, "and perhaps we are not alone anymore." The fleet rested, ready to continue its work the next day. But even as humans and Ellery worked together, the distant signals from the pirates grew stronger. Danger was still out there, waiting. The humans had to protect the Ellery not only from neglect, but from the threats that still lurked in the shadows of space. Captain Mitchell knew this. She looked at the stars and felt the weight of her responsibility. "We will not fail," she said. "They trusted us, and we will keep that trust no matter what comes." In Ellery cities, lights began to shine in patterns the humans recognized as thanks, joy, and relief. Humans smiled as they worked. The Ellery smiled back, slowly learning that there could be kindness in the universe. The human fleet had arrived. They had not come to conquer, to demand, or to claim. They had come simply to help. And for the Ellery, that was more than they had hoped for in centuries. And so the work began. Energy flowed again. Water ran again. Children played under glowing structures. And humans and Ellery, though very different, began to walk together for the first time in history. But the quiet warning from the distant pirates reminded everyone that the galaxy was not yet safe. The next challenges were coming. Yet, for now, hope was alive. For the first time in hundreds of years, the Ellery felt that someone in the universe cared for them. And that feeling, simple as it was enough to change everything. The Ellery system had begun to feel alive again. Cities glowed brightly, energy grids hummed, and children laughed in the streets of the floating colonies. Humans and Ellery worked side by side, building, repairing, and learning from one another. But far beyond the light of the system, danger stirred. On the edge of the asteroid belt, a group of pirate ships had been watching. These were not ordinary criminals. They were remnants of old warbands, scavengers who had preyed on the Ellery for centuries. They saw the sudden appearance of humans as a challenge. In their minds, anyone who came into Ellery space should be weak, easy to plunder. They had not expected a fleet. Captain Grace Mitchell stood on the bridge of Liberty Dawn looking at the sensors. Commander Noah Bennett was beside her, studying the movement of distant ships. "We have company," Noah said quietly. Grace turned to him. "How many?" "Too many to ignore," Noah replied. "They are approaching fast from the asteroid belt near the outer colonies. Looks like a full attack formation." The bridge crew tensed. The Ellery, watching through human relays, sensed the sudden alert. Their luminous forms flickered with concern. They had never seen warships before. Their own defenses had been dismantled long ago. Grace called for the fleet to form defensive positions. Destroyers moved to the edges, shield generators were activated, and weapons systems powered up. She spoke calmly, but her voice carried authority. "We protect the Ellery. Nothing else matters. Stay in position and be ready." Commander Ryan Clark prepared the forward destroyers. "Captain, they are faster than we expected. If they reach the outer colonies, the civilians could be in danger." "We will not let that happen," Grace said. "Focus on slowing them down, not destroying unless we have no choice." In the Ellery cities, the council watched anxiously. "Why do they come?" asked the youngest counselor. "Are they here to fight?" "They are here to protect," said the eldest. "Do not fear, watch what humans do. They fight not for conquest, but for others." The pirate ships moved closer. They fired warning shots, hoping to scare the humans away. But the humans did not retreat. Instead, they advanced carefully, using asteroid cover and precise maneuvers to shield the supply vessels and weaker ships. Lieutenant Ava Morgan coordinated the communications. "Captain, they are trying to flank us. If we stay here, the colonies could be hit." Grace nodded. "Noah, Ryan, take a squadron through the belt. Force them back." Noah and Ryan led their ships, weaving through the asteroids, using the terrain as cover. The pirates were surprised. They had expected humans to flee or surrender, but these humans moved with strategy and courage. At the outer colonies, the Ellery watched as humans intercepted the first wave. The destroyers fired non-lethal disabling beams, targeting engines and weapons rather than killing anyone. Ships spun out of control, drifting away, while humans moved forward to protect the Ellery habitats. One pirate ship tried to aim at a power station, but Ryan Clark and his team moved quickly. Using the asteroids as cover, they disabled the ship's weapons and sent it tumbling into the void. The Ellery gasped. They had never seen anyone fight like this before, not with anger, but with control, precision, and care. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter monitored the battle from the command center back on Liberty Dawn. "They are doing it," Daniel said, eyes fixed on the screen. "They are defending without causing unnecessary death," Lily nodded. "The Ellery are watching. This is not just about fighting. It is about showing who we are. This is why we came." As the battle continued, the pirates regrouped, bringing in more ships. Their leader, a ruthless warlord named Verk, saw that humans were different from any prey he had faced before. "They will break," Verk growled. "They cannot protect all of them. Strike hard and the Ellery will fall." But the humans anticipated the move. Captain Mitchell directed Liberty Dawn and several other carriers to form a shield around the most vulnerable colonies. The remaining destroyers engaged the pirates directly, drawing them into careful traps. Noah Bennett noticed a weak point in the pirate formation. "Captain, we can flank their main ship through the asteroid belt. If we disable it, the others may retreat." Grace nodded. "Do it. Ryan, take your squadron and follow him. The rest of the fleet stays here to protect civilians." The flanking maneuver was risky. The pirate flagship was large, heavily armed, and surrounded by smaller attack ships. Ryan and Noah guided their destroyers through narrow spaces between asteroids, dodging enemy fire. Each maneuver required precise timing. One wrong move could destroy a ship or send it spinning into a colony. The Ellery watched in awe as humans moved like a single unit, their ships coordinating perfectly. For centuries, they had never seen such teamwork, such bravery, and such care for others. Finally, the flanking squad reached the flagship. Noah gave the command. "Fire disabling arrays, target engines and weapons, avoid hull damage." The beams hit the enemy ship. Its engines failed, weapons went offline, and it drifted helplessly. The smaller pirate ships, seeing their leader disabled, panicked. Some fled, others surrendered. The battle turned in favor of the humans. Back on Liberty Dawn, Grace smiled. "Well done, keep the perimeter tight, make sure no one slips through." The Ellery cheered, their voices echoing through the communication channels. "They fight for us," said Lyra, her glow brightening. "They are not here to conquer, they are here to protect." The battle was not over, but the humans had proven their point. The pirates would think twice before attacking Ellery colonies again. For the first time in centuries, the Ellery felt safe in the stars. Captain Mitchell ordered medical teams to assist any Ellery who had been injured in the crossfire. Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter helped coordinate supplies and repairs, making sure that the aftermath of the battle did not create more problems. At the Ellery Council chambers, the elders discussed what they had seen. "These humans are remarkable," said the eldest. "They fight not for themselves, but for others. That is why they are strong." The youngest counselor nodded. "Perhaps we have misunderstood strength all this time. Perhaps it is not the power to destroy, but the courage to protect." Meanwhile, Captain Mitchell held a meeting with her officers. "The pirates will return," she said. "We cannot assume the battle is over, but today we have shown them who we are. We protect the Ellery and we do not falter. That is our strength." Commander Bennett agreed. "We also need to prepare for future threats. There could be other groups in this sector who see Ellery space as weak. We must stay vigilant." At another colony, human engineers worked alongside Ellery citizens to repair the damage from the battle. Energy grids were restored, water systems repaired, and communication links strengthened. Children laughed as they watched humans demonstrate how simple machines worked. Humans taught Ellery engineers how to maintain their systems more efficiently. Sarah the medic helped an injured Ellery. "You are safe now," she said softly. "We will not let anything happen to you." The Ellery smiled. "We have never known such care," the alien replied. "It feels warm." In the days after the battle, humans and Ellery began to trust each other even more. The Ellery learned that humans were strong, not because they had weapons, but because they cared about others and would not abandon them. They realized that this was the greatest power they had ever seen. Captain Mitchell and Commander Bennett reviewed reports from the entire system. They knew that more dangers could appear, but the Ellery were beginning to rebuild. Hope was alive again. In the Ellery capital city, the council spoke to the human fleet. "You have saved our people," said the eldest elder. "You have shown us what it means to be protected. How can we ever repay you?" Grace Mitchell replied simply, "You do not need to repay us." "We came because you asked. That is enough." The youngest counselor added, "We have waited centuries for help. You have given us something we almost forgot, hope. Thank you." As the fleet prepared to continue repairs and support, Daniel Brooks looked at the stars. "They are learning," he said to Lily Carter. "The Ellery are learning that they are not alone, and that is more important than any fight." Lily nodded. "Yes, and humanity has shown its best. We are not perfect, but we protect those in need. That is who we are." Even as peace returned to the colonies, the human fleet remained alert. They knew that the galaxy was dangerous, and that protecting the Ellery might take more battles. But they also knew that the Ellery had begun to trust, and that this trust could change the course of the future. At night, the Ellery cities glowed brightly. The light reflected on the human ships orbiting nearby. For the first time in hundreds of years, the Ellery felt that the universe was not empty. For the first time, they felt hope, courage, and the possibility of friendship beyond their own world. Captain Mitchell stood on the bridge of Liberty Dawn looking at the glowing colonies. She felt pride but also responsibility. "We will stay," she said to her officers. "We protect them, we help them, and we will not fail." Noah Bennett nodded. "We've shown them that humans fight for others. That is our greatest strength." As the stars shone around them, the Ellery and humans continued their work side by side. Repairs continued, defenses strengthened, and trust grew. The battle had been won, but the mission was not complete. Together, they would face whatever the galaxy could throw at them. And in that moment, the Ellery understood a truth they had almost forgotten. Being strong did not mean standing alone. It meant standing together with courage, care, and hope. The human fleet had proven that they were not only protectors, they were friends. And for the Ellery, that friendship was more powerful than any weapon. The battle was over, but the work was far from done. The Ellery system glowed with the soft light of repaired cities and floating colonies. Humans moved among them, helping to rebuild, protect, and teach. Captain Grace Mitchell walked on the deck of Liberty Dawn, looking out at the starry sky. She saw the floating colonies, shining brightly, and she felt a sense of accomplishment. "Captain," Commander Noah Bennett said beside her, "the colonies are almost fully restored. Energy grids are stable, life support is repaired, and the Ellery are starting to take part in maintaining their own systems again." Grace nodded. "Good, that was the plan, but we cannot stop here. They need more than repairs. They need to know they are not alone in this galaxy. We must help them build lasting defenses, trade, and communication. Otherwise, someone like those pirates could come back." In the Ellery capital, the council gathered once more. Their glow was brighter now, filled with relief and curiosity. The eldest elder spoke first. "You have done more than we ever imagined. You have saved our people and restored our homes. How can we ever repay such kindness?" Grace Mitchell spoke through the communication channel. "You do not need to repay us. We came because you asked for help. That is all we need. We want to help because it is the right thing to do. That is enough." The youngest counselor floated closer to the transmission screen. "You have taught us a new way to see the stars. We once thought the universe would always leave us alone. Now we know that help can come even from far away." Sarah, a medic, moved through the Ellery city helping children who were curious about humans. "Do not be afraid," she said gently. "We are here to teach and help. We are your friends." The children stared at her wide-eyed, amazed at humans with hands and faces so different from their own. Some reached out to touch the glowing uniforms, fascinated by the simple warmth and kindness the humans carried. Elsewhere, engineers worked with Ellery technicians. The Ellery learned quickly. They watched how humans repaired energy grids, repaired floating buildings, and strengthened communication satellites. Daniel Brooks supervised the work from Liberty Dawn, coordinating resources and guiding both humans and Ellery. "Look at them," Lily Carter said, watching Ellery children follow human engineers. "They are learning fast. They will be able to manage their systems on their own soon." Daniel smiled. "Yes, humans give them knowledge, and that is stronger than any weapon. Knowledge lasts." Hope lasts. The Ellery began to share their own culture with humans. Music floated through the cities, created with light and sound. Humans listened in wonder. Lyra, an Ellery guide, explained the patterns of light and sound to the human crew. "Each song tells a story," she said. "It tells of our past, our pain, and our dreams. We hope you understand." Captain Mitchell and her officers attended a demonstration. Humans had never seen anything like it. The music was beautiful, bright, and emotional. Even the crew, who had fought battles and traveled through dangerous space, felt something new. "This is why we fight to protect life," Grace said quietly to Noah. "Because life in all its forms is worth protecting, and this is what we protect." Meanwhile, the Ellery Council discussed more than repairs. They talked about trade, defense, and cultural exchange. Humans taught them how to build faster communication networks between colonies and how to monitor for pirates. The Ellery were intelligent and eager to learn. They adapted quickly, and soon they were not just receiving help, they were planning alongside the humans. At a smaller colony, Commander Ryan Clark helped Ellery engineers set up a new defense grid. "You must understand," he said. "Defense is not about attacking first. It is about being ready. If anyone comes again, you can protect yourselves." The Ellery nodded. "We have learned from your courage. We will not forget it." As days passed, small human teams traveled from colony to colony. They helped build schools, hospitals, and farms. Humans taught basic engineering, medicine, and communication. Ellery children learned how to maintain floating platforms and energy systems. Slowly, the Ellery began to rebuild their civilization stronger than before. Captain Mitchell called a meeting with her officers. "We are doing more than repairs. We are teaching them to protect themselves and to rebuild their society. This is the real victory. The battle may be over, but the work of hope continues." Admiral Ethan Cole contacted the fleet. "The reports are excellent," he said. "You have done more than expected. The Ellery are beginning to thrive again. Their gratitude is clear. But remember, your mission continues. Make sure that help is permanent and that the Ellery know they can always count on us." The Ellery Council formally invited Captain Mitchell, Commander Bennett, and other leaders to their capital. The humans were amazed by the crystalline city, glowing under their blue sun. Ellery children played on floating platforms, humans and Ellery laughing together. The council elder spoke first. "You have shown us what it means to be strong, not by weapons, not by armies, but by courage, care, and friendship. You have saved us and you have taught us hope. How can we ever repay you?" Grace Mitchell spoke, smiling. "You do not need to repay us. You are our friends. That is enough." The youngest counselor added, "For centuries we believed we were abandoned. Now we know that there are beings in the galaxy who care. You have given us more than life. You have given us hope and courage. We will remember this forever." Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter walked among Ellery citizens. "We have never met anyone like them," Lily said softly. "They are beautiful in ways we cannot imagine," Daniel nodded, "and they have never seen anyone like us either. This is a new beginning for both species. Outside, the human fleet patrolled the outer edges of the system. They remained alert, watching for any returning pirates or threats. But the Ellery were no longer afraid. They had humans beside them, ready to protect and guide. In one of the colonies, children asked humans to teach them songs, games, and stories. Sarah, the medic, laughed as she taught them simple games from Earth. Humans and Ellery shared meals, laughter, and stories of their past struggles. Captain Mitchell and Noah Bennett watched from Liberty Dawn. "This is what matters," Grace said. "The Ellery will survive, they will thrive, and we have helped them do it." Noah smiled. "Yes, we fought to protect them, we taught them. And now they are learning to protect themselves. That is the real strength." The Ellery slowly rebuilt their colonies. Energy flowed through every city, water systems ran clearly, and communication satellites connected the entire system. Ellery scientists and engineers worked alongside humans, learning quickly, improving the designs, and creating new systems of their own. The council held a ceremony to thank the humans. Children gathered, Ellery citizens floated in the light, and the humans stood proudly. The eldest counselor spoke. "You have not only saved our people, you have given us courage, knowledge, and friendship. You have shown us what it means to survive, to thrive, and to hope. We are forever grateful." Grace Mitchell replied, "We came because you called for help. We will stay as long as you need us. You are our friends, and friends do not abandon each other." The youngest counselor smiled. "We will remember this forever. Your courage will be told in our songs, in our stories, and in our children's lessons. You have changed us." Weeks passed, and the Ellery became more independent. They could maintain energy grids, defend themselves against minor threats, and communicate between colonies without human assistance. Humans continued to teach, but the Ellery were quick learners. Daniel Brooks and Lily Carter marveled at the progress. "They are amazing," Daniel said. "They will thrive, they are not helpless anymore." Lily nodded. "We helped them, but they did the hard work. Humanity just showed the way. That is what makes this meaningful." As the human fleet prepared to return to Earth, the Ellery gathered one last time. "Do not leave us," said Lyra softly. "We have learned so much from you. We need your guidance." Grace Mitchell smiled. "We will not abandon you. You are strong enough now to take care of yourselves. We will always be nearby if you call. That is the promise of friends." Commander Bennett added, "We will return if you need help, but we have faith in you. You have proven your strength. The galaxy is yours now." The Ellery shone brightly, their cities lighting up the darkness. The humans watched, proud and emotional. They had not only saved a species, they had built trust, friendship, and hope. Captain Mitchell addressed her crew. "We did more than fight. We showed the universe who we are. We protect, we teach, and we care. That is our greatest strength. Remember it." The fleet departed the Ellery system slowly, leaving behind ships that would remain to help monitor and assist if needed. The Ellery waved, their glowing forms floating gracefully among the stars. As the humans left, the Ellery Council gathered one last time. "They have shown us the greatest gift," said the eldest. "Not life, not power, not wealth. They have given us friendship, courage, and hope. That is stronger than anything in the galaxy." The youngest counselor nodded. "We will remember them forever, and we will continue their work. We will protect our people, rebuild our worlds, and reach out to the stars knowing we are not alone." The Ellery watched the fleet fade into the distance. Their system was alive again. Their people were strong again. And they knew no matter what challenges the future held, humanity would be there, watching, guiding, and ready to help. And so a bond was formed between two species, a bond built on courage, care, and the simple truth that no one should ever be abandoned. The Ellery had called for help, and humanity had answered with not just ships, but hearts. For the first time in generations, the stars felt full of hope. And in that hope, both humans and Ellery found their greatest strength.